Good evening, guys. Welcome to the program on sales and operation planning. Though it looks alien to supply chain professionals, this is one of the important event or a process which has to happen in any organization if supply chain or inventory management has to be managed in a better way. In any organization there can be lot of conflicts and conflicts of interest. There is somebody in an organization who wants more inventory. For example, sales wants more inventory because they want to improve the customer service. Maybe production also wants more inventory because they are looking for higher utilization of the resources. Possibly other functions, finance, supply chain, possibly the top management, they are looking everything in a optimized way. But organizations are not organized in such a way. Maybe you can see the word operation here means what is being used in the western countries, like production and supply chain reporting to a common boss. Whereas in India, you will see that the supply chain is a separate function and production is a separate function having different bosses. So when there are more function with more responsibilities, more performance measure, then we are working in a silo operation. That's how it operates in a traditional organization. Okay, when you have this silo operation, you can see lot of conflicts, finger pointing, fighting. Whenever you attend meeting, you can experience these type of events, and there may not be any resolution to any problem. Possibly that's where even bosses have some organizational politics. They will try to align with some of the function. So in the western countries, at least they have organized into a operations kind of a setup where at least the supply chain and production is reporting to a common boss. Whereas in India, we have fragmented most of the organization. Even supply chain is further divided into so many functions, like inbound is managed by one function, outbound is managed by different function, and inventory is done by planning team. So there are so many functions. As you have more number of function, the conflict is expected to be more, and the problem ultimately the business will suffer and customer service is going to suffer. So you need a process where these functions are aligned as per the business objective, and we are able to provide a better service to customer, and also in a most optimized way you can provide the service. This is where sales and operation planning has come to picture. In fact, it is one of the activity in a planning organization hierarchy. Okay, here this is a process in which we are trying to find the gap between demand and supply, and also try to find how we can minimize this gap, so that the organization wide everybody has a same figure and also a single direction to manage their process. Okay, so let us see a brief understanding of this SNOP process, which is specifically more useful from the supply chain management point of view. Before that, briefly, I will introduce myself. Possibly some of you are connected with me in the LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn profile. If you would like to connect with me or follow with me, you can search using the supply chain master as the keyword for searching in LinkedIn. And as far as my profile is concerned, I am an engineer with a management degree with a PG diploma in data science. I have nearly 2.5 decades working experience managing different aspects of supply chain in this type of global organization. So I am more of a practical guy than a theoretical training guy. I have in-depth knowledge about each of the process and the pain points experienced by the professionals. In the last assignment over last 10 years, I have been heading the supply chain in these various organization. Currently, I am the CEO of this organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. Coming to my certification, I am basically certified by Apex with this global certifications. Also from an institute called Demand Driven Institute. If you are in the job market, you need to acquire this type of certification in a highly competitive job market. Okay, I am also a certified purchasing professional, also a project management professional. Coming to our organization, this is 4 years old organization based in Bangalore, and I am heading this organization. I provide both consulting and training in the area of supply chain and allied domains. One of our popular program is supply chain analytics. How you can use analytics to improve the performance of supply chain. Also, we provide consulting to the organization where they want to implement a supply chain organization along with the S&OP process, and we have been successful. Coming to S&OP, if you want any business to excel, there are three participants which has to work together to make anything successful. There, of course, people is number one. Then comes second, tool, and third is a process. Of course, they cannot be successful if they are not aligned. All this has to be aligned. Meanwhile, any one of you want any doubts or clarification, you can always type in the LinkedIn. I am watching your LinkedIn comments so that I can respond during the program. Okay, this is the these are the element which we need to focus for any business excellence. And many of the organization, and for my guess, in Indian situation, even today 70% of the organization are based on this type of a traditional arrangement. Each function is divided, and they have their own bosses and performance measure, and the supply chain or overall objectives are not aligned. In this situation, you may feel the many processes are operating under suboptimal performance. Possibly there are very few global organizations who are organized as per supply chain format. They are doing in a better way, but if you are in a traditional way, please move towards the next format, because without organizational change, this improvement of supply chain cannot be expected. Coming to in the traditional organization, you can see many of the process here. What is displayed is a mainly related to supply chain process in terms of hierarchy. Of course, in the top you can see business planning, where you have input from strategic planning and financial planning. Whereas in the core planning area, we are going to have a master planning. Maybe this position we can call in terms of S&OP now in the current organization. Then you have master scheduling or MPS. Then you have MRP. Then you have the execution at a lower level. Of course, this follows a hierarchy in terms of level of the product. Possibly at a higher level, we are going to see in terms of product families. Next level could be end product, and finally we are going to the component. Of course, there is a demand management on one side, where they are handling customers, sales, marketing and distribution. Whereas on the other side, it is a capacity management or supply planning, where you need to coordinate internally with the manufacturing or suppliers. So you can see a highland of functions and metrics in many of the traditional organization. You can see the process are disconnected and they don't have alignment. Though many organizations they feel they are already arranged in the supply chain format, there is no connectivity, especially from strategic level planning to operation level, nor alignment with the demand and supply as given in this figure. Anyone has any doubt so far, you can always type in the comments so that I can respond to it. If you are watching through LinkedIn Live, you are welcome to type any of the comments or clarification in the comments. Okay, what are the symptoms of a problem in many organization? You may see these are the characteristic, especially whenever you attend a meeting, you will see lot of fighting going on, finger pointing. Maybe the meeting will get elonged for 4 hours, 5 hours, or most of the time the bosses are sitting inside the meeting room, and you do not have access to them. Also from the customer angle, you will see lot of missed customer deliveries, loss of credibility with customer, lost customer, you are not able to supply the customer, which means naturally the customers are disappearing. On the supply side, many times you are going in for expediting, which means that you have a special manpower in doing expediting. Also it means that you need to spend extra money, possibly you are going to get it through air freight, and you may see that the transportation cost is dramatically increasing. You can also experience higher manufacturing cost, excess overtime, premium cost and freights, reduced flexibility, responsiveness, higher working capital in inventories, late new product introductions, reduced operational performance, reduced financial performance. These are the characteristic of a organization where the performance is not optimized, and this could be the symptoms if you are not following the correct process. This is where SNOP is going to help the organization to come to a better performance. And if your organization experience at least two of three of any of this activity repeatedly, then you are in the same platform. Whether you may call your organization as a supply chain oriented or not, maybe you are not integrated in terms of process, so possibly you are working under a sub optimal performance. This is where SNOP has come into picture. There you have to understand that there are three control variables. One is work, second one is time, and third one is resources. We have to align these things to meet the integration. This is what we are going to discuss in our detailed program, either training or consulting or implementation. You need to align these variables, then only you can go to the right path. There are various ways in achieving these things, but you can see there are a certain way it can be done. So many people may say you do in some format. It may be okay as long as you are getting the better performance. Possibly you need to take any advice on implementing SNOP from a practically experienced guy who has worked in an industry at least 20 or 30 years. Then only you will know the pain points. Okay, maybe there are some theoretical model which never works, but the basic model, everything as a theory or practical, they may display this kind of model where you are going to start any product review, demand review, supply review, financial review, and finally have a SNOP meeting supported by strategies, resources, and performance measures. Of course, this model is there existing for last 20 years. This is where one Mr. Dickling has introduced this model, and Possibly many organizations are able to utilize and improve the performance of their organization by using this model. Any of the participant, any doubt, clarifications, you can always type in the comments. Is this type of short video session, is it beneficial to you? Do you like the program? Can you comment or like? I am waiting for your comments so that I can proceed to the next step. Any doubts or clarification as of now? Okay, Anil Aradhya says yes. Anand Kumar says yes. Okay, we will proceed now. In S&OP, there is some kind of forward planning. Of course, in this session, we are going to see only a brief highlight. If any one of you interested in our short program, which is for 2 hours, or a detailed program which comes around 8 to 10 hours, you can reach out to me. There are self-paced program available on S&OP. And you can always reach out to us. Coming to the forward planning, normally for SNOP, some data preparation is also required to give some highlight to the participants. Especially this involves a cross-functional team, possibly somebody from demand, somebody from supply, and also top management participation is also required. So some visual display or dashboards may be required as a preparation, and analysis is required. What was planned and what is actual, what is the deviation from business plan, and what are the steps in which we can connect. So you can see a sample in terms of demand, how this can be displayed, either last 3 or 6 months period history can be displayed, along with the future 18 months, or around that time. It need not be exactly 18 months. Okay, depending upon your organization requirement, you can do the planning. So it gives an idea to all the cross functional team how we can manage the resources over the next 18 months period. There are some areas where there is a peak, and some period in which the requirement is low. So there is a planning comes along with this display. So either you are going to reduce the capacity, or you are going to increase the capacity depending on requirement. Always this type of a preparation is always required. In fact, in our program, we work with Excel template so that you can also be clear on how this can be done. Finally, what we are looking is a totally integrated planning. We have seen everything as a isolated in the previous slide, but now if you want the organization to perform better and remove most of the symptoms, it has to be integrated. As you see, many organization, this integration requires organizational change. In fact, this comes with the change management, and the top management should also get involved in this process. If they are in doing politics, then it cannot work out. But at any point of time, if the business has to survive, and if you have to remove all those symptoms, this connectivity is important. And this is where integrated business planning comes into picture. And a successful organization use a cross functional team to effect. The subject of integration is our program. We do a training program, either 8 hours, 10 hours, on various aspects of integration. How do we conduct this S&OP process, and who should be participants? What are the factors to be used during the discussion, and how to avoid the conflicts in any organization, so that we can get the result. In fact, this has been implemented successfully in many organization by me, as a consultant, as well as working in my previous organization. We were able to integrate, and the result has come. So, this was a brief introduction. Though the name calls us a supply, sales, and operation planning, it is more useful to supply chain management professionals. If you understand what is the process, and if we can streamline in your organization, you are going to plan for material in a better way. You are going to improve the customer service to your organization. Now I am coming to the end of the session. I want to make all this live session short and crisp, so that you are able to get main takeaways. And if you need more details, you are always welcome to reach to me. So that's where I have provided my website as well as the contact numbers. And for the next couple of minutes, I am available online. If you need any doubts or clarification, you can always type in the LinkedIn comments. Does any of your organization follow SNOP as a process? Rohit, I know you are in the sales development team, or do you follow a SNOP process? It is generally a monthly process discussed at the volume level, not at the mix level. It comes with a five-step process, and it is not so much expensive to implement this type of a program. Only thing to be managed is a change management in your organization, possibly involving the top management has to get involved. Okay, any doubts, clarification from the participants? Someone is asking what your preferred tool for SNOP. Possibly you have to start with a simple Excel and then try to integrate with your ERP, whatever ERP you are using, whether it's a SAP or Oracle, they have a provision for integrating SNOP. I don't suggest any standalone tool for managing SNOP. See, one more important thing is at SNOP, we are discussing at volume level, possibly product family level. So there is less of a complication, because here we are going to discuss and resolve with the top management, and we are not supposed to take all small component level details. So my preference is you start with Excel and start integrating with your ERP. That should be fine. Though there are some standalone tools available, I don't think that can do anything better. It's a decision making tool what we are talking here. In fact, in our programs, we train the candidates with the Excel template. At a product level, even if you have hundreds of finished products and a complex organization, you have to get them into a product family, possibly 8 or 10 product family, and then discuss at the volume level and freeze that level. So for that, you don't need any complicated tools for this. Any other doubts, questions from other participants? Are you using SNOP in your organization, or do you use any specific tools? If you are using, like someone is asking, what is better tool? Any others comments or clarification? You can also welcome to reach to me either through this WhatsApp number or in the site. We can always discuss regarding any of career advice or in terms of training or consulting. Everything is possible. These are WhatsApp numbers of our executives. You can always fix the time and discuss with me. Is there any doubts, clarification? Okay, if there are no doubts, we will conclude this session. Have a nice evening. We will see you in the next program. You can always subscribe to my various social media channel like YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye.